President Trump says the administration has been notified that the killings and executions in Iran have stopped. Human rights groups warned the Iranian regime could begin hanging anti-government protesters as soon as today. Now, Trump says if those executions do happen, he'll be, quote, very upset.
Been notified and pretty strongly, but we'll find out what that all means. But we've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopped, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or an execution or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset. But that's just gotten to me, some information that the killing has stopped, that the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution, which a lot of people were talking about for the last couple of days. Today was going to be the day of execution.
An ongoing internet blackout makes it difficult for journalists and rights groups to monitor the protests going on in Iran or the government's brutal crackdown on them. Now, sources tell CBS News the number of protesters killed so far could be at least 12,000. So I want to bring in CBS News Middle East reporter Courtney Kealy. Courtney, we have seen Trump's red line shift when it comes to U.S. involvement. Now that he says the killing has stopped, what are the likely next steps, and how might Israel factor in?
Well, we've heard not that the killings have stopped, but those massive killings from the protests on Thursdays and Thursday, Friday into the weekend have clearly cleared the streets of protesters. People tell me that in Tehran, they're still worried about bullets flying through their windows, and that, you know, some friends' elderly parents are worried about that and not sure how to take precautions. Now, the executions today that were supposed to take place, especially Erfan Soltani, the 26-year-old, his family had been notified that it would happen today. It did not happen today. Rights group says they've been postponed. The Iran's judiciary says there would be swift executions. It did not happen today. It does not mean that there's a stop to that, however. We are hearing that Israel's on the defensive. They'll let the U.S. take the lead in this, according to sources that I've spoken to. They're not interested in the offensive, but if attacked, according to Netanyahu, the reply and the result after that would be very severe.
Do you believe the collapse of the Iranian regime would presumably lead to a level of chaos, some level of chaos? And does Iran have organized leadership that's capable of offering some sort of alternative?
Well, Iran is just a different equation than, say, an Iraq, which had the Sunnis and the Shiites, and then, like in Syria, you have the Druze, and this is more of a complex makeup. In Iran, there are ethnic groups in the minority, but they did take to the protests, the Kurds and others. They were out in all 31 provinces, all Iranians of different ages, obviously, especially the youth. But you're really still suffering from the blackouts. People with Starlink terminals are afraid that people will come to their door. People who have wounded being sent to hospitals have been worried that people would come and remove those wounded. So it has not quieted down, has not gotten safer, but there have been less protests, although we are still seeing a little bit. It's not necessarily that martial law has been declared, but it's a kind of martial law. And we know that the U.S. and the administration right now isn't interested in another Iraq or Afghanistan or any kind of military occupation, but we have to see how they would work with this. And Israel, like I said, not on the offensive, on the defensive.
Courtney, thank you so much.